In this guide, we're going to go over the do's and don'ts of Diablo 2 Hardcore. I see a lot of new players wanting to try out Hardcore. I see a lot of new players dying in Hardcore. Right now, we're going to go through some of the things I think kill people the most. Number one is resistances. If you don't have max resist, you can still finish the game just fine, but you need to be wary. The lower this number is on your fire, ice, and lightning, the higher chances you are to die of that element. Just be very wary of that. Never go into the negatives. And if you are in the negatives, be careful. Another thing we need to look at is potions. So red potions give you a regen effect on your health. Blue potions give you a regen effect on your mana. Purple potions give you an instant heal. And rejuvenation potions, the purple ones, are what you want the most of in Hardcore. Now we'll talk about enemies and specific ones you need to look out for. There's a lot of them. Right now we're showcasing dolls, but some enemies will just straight up one-shot you. Some enemies are just a lot harder than the rest. Some of them are a joke. We're going to go through each act and what I feel is the most dangerous of the bunch. Now, just speaking off the top of my head, dolls are one because they explode when they die. It's like a corpse explosion, 50% fire damage, 50% physical damage. Gloams, as seen in the video here, they're another very dangerous enemy that you're going to bump into. They can shoot lightning from afar, and it does a lot of damage. And it actually pierces things. So if you're playing a necromancer, your skeletons aren't going to soak that damage. It's going to go right through them, hit you, possibly kill you. Now, there's a lot of enemies like this. Flamethrowers are a lot of spike fire damage that you have to look out for. But without further ado, let's take a peek at them. Now, also in Act 2, there are blunderbores. I forgot to add that. But charge bolt beetles are pretty scary. These are the dolls I was speaking of earlier. They do corpse explosion on death. Usually you want your mercs to handle that. The mage variant of the Oblivion Knight will cast random curses on you, like lower resist, amp damage, etc. Be careful of those. Suicide minions, if you let them get close and they actually hit you, they can hurt you quite a bit. So be careful of that. You never, ever want to run into a big group of bloodlords. They will kill you. Minions of Destruction also do a knockback stun. Let's talk about affixes. So affixes are buffs that are tied to champion monsters. So in this video, as you see right now, these spear women, who are actually pretty scary. If this wasn't Nightmare, if this was Hell, this would actually be terrifying for me. But Spear Women with Might, the high damage they already have and the high crit rate they already have, they're doing exponentially more damage. Some of the affixes you want to look out for. One is Cursed. If you look on the left side here, the red curse is Amp Damage. Amp Damage increases the damage you take from physical attacks by 100%. It's pretty terrifying when paired with Extra Strong or Might Aura. Lower Resist does exactly what the name implies. Lowers your resistances a set amount, so you take more elemental damage. Now, if we look at auras, there is a lot to unpack here. So on the left side, we have Conviction Aura. It works a lot like Lower Resist, but to a greater extent. Be wary of your resistances when you see enemies with this. We also have Fanaticism, which is in the middle. That increases the speed and attack power of the units that have this aura affected on them. You want to be careful of that. You want to really watch out for Might in the bottom middle. Might increases their attack power by quite a bit, so pair this with Extra Strong or Cursed, and it's bad news bears. Watch out as well for Holy Shock in the top right. Holy Shock, I've actually had that one-shot me with max lightning resistance a long time ago, but that could have been a fluke. Now, the other things you need to look out for are Extra Strong, Extra Fast, Fire Cold, Lightning Enchant, and Multi-Shot. Extra Strong, things are just going to hit you a lot harder. Pair that with Cursed, pair that with Might, pair that with Fanaticism. Any of that combination, pretty bad stuff. Extra Fast is really scary because things can get to you and just start messing you up quicker. Fire Cold and Lightning Enchant, those are terrifying whenever you're hit with like Lower Resist or if you're hit with Conviction Aura. Lightning Enchant is an early game killer. Be careful of that. Multi-Shot, again, that is terrifying with Cursed or Extra Strong. If an enemy is point blank on you, they can actually shotgun you in one shot with Multi-Shot, so be wary of that. Now let's go over quests and which one you should be doing, which ones you don't really need to do, etc. So in Act 1, obviously Den of Evil gives you a skill point. You want to do that one. On your first playthrough, you definitely want to do Blood Raven as well, just to get your mercenary out there as quickly as you can. More damage, faster kills, etc. But you also want to get Cain, the third quest, just so you can get free identifies. And I would say Charcy is another one that you kind of want to get your hands on for a free rare. Obviously Andariel as well. Act 2, you're eventually going to be going through pretty much most of Act 2 and doing all the quests there, so it's not really much to look at here. Definitely do Radaments for the +1 skills. Now Act 3, you want to do the Goldenberg quest for 20 health. The Gidbin's nice for sometimes a decent ring. Right here, I didn't do the Black Book, but the Black Book is good because it gives you +5 skill points. You definitely want to get your hands on that. The rest of the quests, they're story, pretty much. Now, Act 4, you definitely want to do all of the quests here. The first one is a +2 skills. Second one is maybe a decent rune. Third one is obviously Diablo. Act 5, you want to do Larzik just to get your sockets on a chosen weapon of some sort. The second quest is good because saving the barbarians can get you an Ancient's Pledge, which is very helpful for your resistances. I usually skip Neelathok. Obviously, you need to do the Ancients and also Baal. But those are the main quests that you should be doing on every playthrough. Normal, Nightmare, and Hell. Now let's go over your gear. The main thing you want to look out for with gear is plus skills later on and your resistances. You want to keep your resistances up there. I cannot stress that enough. Rune words like Smoke, rune words like Ancient's Pledge, all of these will help you immensely, depending on your build, depending on your character. So keep an eye out. Resistances above most things. As far as stats go, pretty much cut and dry. Get as much strength as you can to wear the gear that you want to wear. Same with dexterity. Get as much dexterity as you need to wear the gear you need to wear, and also for attack rating, depending on what you're playing. And then dump the rest into vitality. Staying alive is paramount. Nothing else really matters. Don't ever put any points into energy. No one ever does it anymore. Other players. You definitely want to watch out for other players if you're playing online. The game's actually much more enjoyable with a group of people, much more with a group of people that you can trust, but some of us don't really have friends to play with these days, so, you know, pugging it is all we can do. I generally stay away from pugging. I just play solo for the most part, solo self-found, or with like close friends that I can trust. But you do want to watch out for some tactics if you play in pub games. One popular tactic is to hang out at the border between town and like a zone of some sort, like right here with the Bloody Foothills. People will flag for PvP, walk outside when you walk outside, and it's over instantly, depending on their build. If you're not prepared for a PvP encounter and they get the jump on you, you'll probably die. That's just how it goes. The same thing happens with waypoints. Like, keep an eye on people if they know where you're at, especially at like specific waypoints. They can literally, it's called TPPK for a reason. You can literally like get you next to a waypoint, TP back, set their flag, and come back and kill you before you even know what happened. So watch your backs out there. In conclusion, hopefully this video helped you in some way, shape, or form. The aim of this video is to help out newer players with hardcore, or people that want to take their first dip into hardcore. There are plenty of things I know I didn't touch, like Hephaestus here. With the amount of affixes that he can have, he can be a very dangerous enemy to encounter. Also, things like Neelathok and Corpse Explosion with him, and Dariel and her poison, Duriel, just Duriel. Diablo even. I know a lot of people struggle with Diablo. Just be very careful with the lightning attack. Be very careful with the firestorm attack that he does. Both of those do a lot of damage. But at the end of the day, if you take your time, if you are careful, pay attention to your surroundings, you'll probably do just fine in hardcore. And if you don't, that's okay too. There's nothing wrong with starting over a few times. That's what it's all about. In closing, I wish you all good luck in Season 4. Hopefully you get the loot drops that you're looking for. Also, I hope you're just as excited for Diablo 4 as our community is. If you would like to join us for some D2R hardcore action or Diablo 4 when it comes out, we're doing a server slam in a week. If you're interested in any of that, click on the Discord link in the description and join up with us. Say hello. Well, with that, that's about everything. Again, hopefully this guide helps you out.